I think, unfortunately, today's Democrat Party, they're willing to push radical legislation designed to destroy girls' sports and women's sports. Ms. Gaines, what happened on March 17th, 2022?
That's when Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle and again resulted in a tie.
And so you tied. What was the consequence of tying?
We went behind the awards podium and the official looks at both Thomas and myself and says, "Great job, but you guys tied. And we only have one trophy. Therefore, we're giving this trophy to Lia." And I questioned this, and I say, why? And at first, he stumbled on his words. He didn't know how to answer this. Well, we're just doing this in chronological order. To which I further pressed, and I said, okay, well, what are you being chronological about? Because we tied. And if we're doing this off alphabetical order, G comes before T. And he actually appreciated his honesty. He did say, we have to give the trophy for Lia because Lia has to have it for pictures.
In your experience, is there a difference between women and men?
Of course. Going through puberty causes irreversible advantage that no matter the training, no matter the diet, no matter any alterable change you can make will overcome that male advantage, especially in sports like swimming where lung capacity matters so much. Even something as silly as throat size, men have on average a 40% larger throat, which sounds like it's nothing, but when you're grasping for air, that 40% larger throat makes a huge difference in athletic success, not to mention height.
Ms. Robinson, do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition happened,
I'm going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes-no question.
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions.
Do you make a distinction between sex and gender?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think there are more than two sexes?
I believe that there's a definition for intersex as well.
I'm thoroughly confused. When a baby's born, before the baby has had time to even have a sense of self, there's male, female, and intersex. There's a third sex.
I believe that is true, but I would defer to Dr. Lopez as I'm not a physician.
Okay. And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive, and the definitions are always growing.
I think I understand what you're saying. All right, let's go back to the biology. Do males have an advantage over females biologically in sport?
Again, I'm not a physician, and I can't speak to that.
What's your real-world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some males that are taller than some women, and some that are shorter.
You don't believe that a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience been? Male, female?
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony.
Will you please come up here? She's been so brave. Because a lot of people say you can't talk about it. They told me, please don't mention that, sir. It's not politically correct.
All I want to say is that it takes a brain and common sense and fifth grade biology level understanding to realize that this is blatantly unfair. Keep female sports female.
Just to show you how ridiculous it is, look at me. I'm much bigger and much stronger than her. There's no way she could beat me in swimming. Do we all agree? We should not allow men to play in women's sports. So crazy.